Your veins turn to rivers of ice. Your bones crack. And the last thing you see is your own tear ducts freezing up.
Like, literally scared to death?
So cool.
Action.
Congratulations on the film. It's so much fun. And you guys are both amazing.
Thank you so much.
And now, Finn, I want to start with you. You get a mouthful of Slimer in the film. Did they tell you what ectoplasm is made of? What did it taste like?
It didn't really have much of a taste. It had kind of like a minty thing to it. Yeah, I don't know. They never. They said that I think it was like a gelatin mix or something like that. It was just with water. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be for sure.
Yeah. Maybe the less you know, the better, I think,
Exactly.
when it comes to ectoplasm.
Yeah.
And McKenna, what was your coolest moment on Frozen Empire? You see what I did there?
Your coolest one.
Literally right in the beginning, I think this was like first week, whenever I I was so excited watching this in the theater because I like looked around and I was like, oh, what does everybody think? Whenever I am like, I have a ghost to bust, and then I like pull the thing and go out, and I was like, man, I got a one-liner. That's so cool.
You got a few.
I
lines in
do.
this movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has some good ones.
Yeah.
Later Gator.
Later,
That's
Gator.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a
Yeah,
go.
like the one-liners are elite in this film. I think there's no doubt about that. And Trev, Finn, your character Trev is like struggling to get taken seriously as an adult, which I think is something that like all kids can relate to as they get older. For yourself personally, someone who had such great success as a child performer, and then yourself now well into adulthood, is Trevor's story something that you can personally relate to?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was kind of saying it before, like with McKenna, where I was saying, like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I did as a kid and a lot of the projects that I did were almost, like writing and stuff like that, and doing music, like, was kind of almost like in spite of like adults telling us that you can't do the things that adults can do. And, you know, and that's not to say that, like, I'm not like bragging about what's, like writing or doing any of that music stuff. It's more just like that you're almost doing it because you've been told so many times that you can. And so you're basically trying to like test yourself and test the adults and to see what you can do as good as they can. And so, yeah, no, I definitely relate to it.
Yeah, it almost becomes your superpower, I think, right? Like if people tell you you can't do something and you kind of channel it and make some amazing things, I think it's awesome.
I think we're all going to die.
Hold on your ass!
This could bring about the end of humankind.
And for you, McKenna, Phoebe's story arc in this film is so kind of central to the journey that the audience goes on. Like, describe, I guess, what happens to Phoebe in this film.
Well, Phoebe literally like 15 minutes into the movie immediately gets kicked out of Ghostbusters, like right as we start, which is crazy for her. It's kind of her whole thing. That's her thing. She's a Ghostbuster. That's what she's good at. That's her calling. And so she's kind of having to figure out herself and what she is like outside of ghostbusting, how to get back to what she loves. She's, kind of struggling in the same sense that people don't really take, even though she's the smartest person in the room 99% of the time, just because she's younger, people don't take her seriously as a Ghostbuster. And so she's kind of figuring out the entire film how to prove herself, which is fun to be able to mess around with.
Yeah, and I think that's another storyline that I think kids watching this film will really relate to, which is awesome. And so I'm old enough to have borrowed out the original Ghostbusters movie on VHS from a Blockbuster store. I'm curious to know, for you guys, what does the original movie mean to you?
So much.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
much. I
I
mean,
mean-
now that we're a part of the franchise, it's like a very incredible honor because, yeah, I mean, it's known as like one of the great comedies of all time, and I believe that it's one of the great. We believe it's
Yeah.
one of the great comedies of all time. So, and we both grew up watching it, so just being a part of it is incredible. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's weird. It doesn't feel real. Even being like 2 films in, it's like, am I still allowed to be here? It's crazy.
And this second one is like it's like a real Ghostbusters movie. You're in the firehouse. It's crazy. And Finn, of course, you guys both share scenes with the great Dan Aykroyd. What was that like for you? And tell me about working with him.
oh well, I think that he's well. Number one, I think that he's so incredible in the movie. Like I think that he just gives like an unbelievable performance and like such a classic Dan Aykroyd performance. And
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
it shows that in the same way, like, Dan isn't that, he's not, super old, but he's so quick and he's so sharp.
Mhm.
And none of the guys really show, their age, like really at all in the
Mm.
same way. Like it's kind of like flipped how like we're trying to like
Keep up with them.
keep up with them kind of. And so, yeah, I mean, Dan's like one of the warmest, sweetest people ever. And so just being able to talk to him about his life and like growing up in like Ontario, like Kingston, Ontario, like just hearing about how he's just like, I don't know, like all these guys are such legends, and then like hearing about their like lives, their like normal everyday lives is like very great.
Let's get to work.
Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform. Yes.
And McKenna, like you have a great storyline in the film with Paul Rudd as trying to be your stepdad, which I found so cool. Tell me about working with him.
Yeah, Father Paul. I love him. He's great. It was really fun. I think that they have such a sweet relationship in this film. I like the running theme between them of kind of chosen family. I think that that's important. Not always blood is the people who are in your family, but yeah, I think that it's really sweet to kind of see the connection because back in Somerville, Gary was kind of somebody who appreciated and saw Phoebe's intelligence. And I think that it's very nice for her to be seen and heard. And I think that she is very into the fact that he's also a man of science. So it's like something to connect over. But yeah, I think that they have a really sweet connection in this film, and it's fun to see Gary take over, like kind of father figuring. It's fun. He's very funny in it.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for having a chat. I hope you enjoy promoting the film, and I know audiences in Australia will love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
much.